Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Planeswalkers Pub. I'm your host, Aaron.
Howdy, it's RJ.
And I'm Aaron. We're going to be talking about the top cards in the next core set 2020.
But first, let's talk about our signature card.
Yes, every episode of the Planeswalkers Pub will feature a signature card that may or may not relate to the topic at hand.
Today's signature card is Flying Crane Technique. It is an instant for 3, a blue, a red, and a white, and it says, untap all creatures you control. They gain flying and double strike until end of turn. There are many Jeskai styles. Riverwalk imitates flowing water. Dragon Fist, the ancient Hellkites, and Flying Crane, the wild Aven of the high peaks.
Yeah, so I chose this one for several reasons. Number one, because this episode is probably going to come out right after the 4th of July. This card is actually red, white, and blue.
You're so cheesy.
I know. I'm also cheesy because there's 3 of them in the picture. There's 3 of us. So I was like, okay, cool. This is the one time I can actually utilize this. I also chose this because, so we're going to talk about him later on, but Kaikar, Wind's Fury, is actually what they're referring to with this actual crane style, which is kind of cool. So there is a bunch of flavor wins in this entire reasoning for why I actually chose this. That being said, so Eric's back. Mostly to fill out paperwork and give us his license and social security number. You know how hiring people works. But we thought, let's ask his opinion of stuff.
The last you will ever hear of him.
Yeah, I'm going to be in the back doing paperwork until I'm dead.
Pretty much.
Anyway, we've each made our list of 10 cards in the core set. We specifically excluded the legendary cards because that gets its own section. And the ley lines.
That being said, let's talk about our first new legend, Gargos, Vicious Watcher. It is a legendary creature Hydra with vigilance, and it states that Hydra spells you cast cost 4 less to cast. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, Gargos fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. It is an 8/7.
Yeah, it's an 8/7 from the gate. We did talk about
Big
him.
boy.
We did talk about him last episode.
So if you cast a Hydra with X in its name with him on the field, you'll get 4 extra whatever the X would have given you, which is usually something like +1/+1 counters.
Yes, which is fantastic, and it's the Hydra Lord that we needed. This Hydra Lord that we wanted. I wish he was in different colors, like Gyrus, for instance, is the main Hydra colors, which is kind of nice, so you can encompass all the
black,
Hydras.
red, green.
Exactly. The fact that he's mono green does kind of suck, but I looked this up already, there are actually more green Hydras than all the other colors anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess it works. As well as just the Hydras that you mentioned last week, of the ones that actually have decent cost in their mana cost from the gate. There's a Hydra right now, it's actually 4 green. With him on the field, it comes down for 2 green. You're talking, that's nuts.
And there's Paklamos, the World Eater.
Yeah.
With Monstrosity X.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you can just drop that.
Hydra Broodmother.
You can just drop that instantly for 2 green, and then just still have enough mana open to then make it monstrous immediately. Yeah. It gets really crazy. It gets really done.
It's almost like the same people that worked on Ayula also worked on this one.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder which actually has just departments of just each color. Think about it.
Maybe.
This is the department that works on nothing but tribes.
Yeah, this one works with just nothing but tribes. This one works with just nothing but green spells. This one works with nothing but black spells. Just I don't know.
All right, our next legend is Sephara, Sky's Blade. 4 and triple white. You may pay 1 white and tap 4 untapped creatures you control with flying, rather than pay the spell's mana cost. She has flying and lifelink, and other creatures you control with flying have indestructible. So she reduces her own cost by
being able to basically cheat it out for the most part, because you just pay a white, just a single white, and then tap 4 untapped creatures you control with flying, and they kind of cheat her out. This
is kind of like a pseudo convoke.
Yeah, but I don't think it cheats past commander.
Oh yes, it does.
Does it cheat past commander?
Oh yes, it does.
Because there's what was it, the Domri or whatever.
Yeah, it probably works like Derevi.
So he can she can just forever just be cheated out.
I don't know why you'd run her as the commander though. She's definitely better than 99.
I mean, she's definitely better than 99, but it's also one of those things that giving other flyers indestructible, that's something that's serious.
You'd probably have to do something like Flying Tribal or Angel Tribal, because I believe
Angel
all angels have flying.
Yeah, they're angel. Well, all except for maybe like 3. It's on screen right now if there's any that don't have flying, because like old school ways, it was just like, hey, even though it has wings, it's tapping that in the air. Some stuff like that, shenanigan wise. But I definitely agree with you. It's probably just like you run it in an Avacyn style deck, where it's like you're automatically gonna have a destructible anyway. Just if Avacyn's out on the field, you can still have this as a backup plan.
And if you want to do the Nev's Disc shenanigans that Avacyn decks are known to do.
Yeah, Nev's Disc or Armageddon and stuff of that sense, just because that's just how that works. My friend actually ran an Avacyn deck. It was great. It was so great. The next card is Adamus, All-Seeing for 3 blue. Legendary creature Sphinx. It is a 4/5 with flying. Pay 2 and a blue to tap it, draw 2 cards, and discard a card. And then when Adamus, All-Seeing, deals damage to an opponent, you may reveal your hand. If cards with at least 6 different converted mana costs are revealed this way, that player loses target player... Wait, what?
Target player loses the game.
Okay.
Anything that says the target player loses is insane.
So this is the first, like, I've read these before, but it's kind of glance read them before. So, okay, first off, the way that her name is written, it looks a lot like Artemis.
Yeah, you're not the first one to read it like that.
Fantastic, because I was just like, alright, so Artemis, got it. It's like, wait, no, it's there's no R.
It's Artemisis. Attempts to say the name.
Yeah, attempts to say the name, or attempts to win at this point. Okay, so basically, when she deals combat damage to an opponent, you may reveal your hand. If it has 6 different converted mana costs, that player loses the game. So this is crazy. Plus, the fact that it says whenever she deals damage to an opponent.
Yeah,
so
it's not
you
even
have,
combat damage.
It doesn't have to be combat
So you can do like,
So longbow,
or just
thorn bite staff.
any of those things, you just say like, hey, tap this to ping an opponent. You're in mono blue if you're running this as your commander, so you're gonna have card draw up the wazoo anyway. You can easily, because it doesn't say, because it says at least, which means you can have more than just 6 cards in your hands to reveal this. So like, land counts as 0, Soul Ring, Signet.
And how many blue cards are draw cards and put ones back? You can easily shape your hand to meet the requirements.
Just like brainstorm, right? Like, like say they go to swing in or something in that sense, you're like, cool, like, no blocks, whatever, like, I take the hits, or like, it is in the air, so I still take the hits. All right, before her effect triggers, I'm going to brainstorm real quick to glance at something, go grab what you need.
Plus, if you stack your deck with infinite hand size, you can just meet the requirements super easily.
It's a reliquary tower and just drawing all the cards, and you basically just win.
Coming up next is Villas, Broker of Blood. It is a legendary creature, demon, for 5 and 3 black. It is an 8/8 flyer, and it says pay a black mana, pay 2 life. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. So whenever you use this ability, you draw 2 cards. That should say pay a black mana, pay 2 life, draw 2 cards.
Yeah, that's basically what it says.
You don't even need
and the fact that
-1/-1.
Yeah, the fact that you -1/-1, something you could just like kill a land or elves, just I'm just going to target it because of targeting. Or even still, it just says target creature, so you can target himself because there's only until end of turn anyway. So you can just be like, okay, I'm going to pay a black, lose 2 life, draw 2 cards, and then he becomes a 7/7. We did, Eric and I actually looked this up beforehand because a lot of people, when this got spoiled, a lot of people were looking online saying, hey, you can kill yourself by this. Let me introduce Fate Unraveler. It is a 3 and a black for a hag. Most people do. She's a 3/4, but that's not important. What's important, it says, whenever an opponent draws a card, Fate Unraveler deals 1 damage to that player. So if both of these are on the field, let's say Fate's on your opponent's side of the field, you draw a card, she deals 1 damage to you. Because you got dealt 1 damage, you have to draw a card. Because you drew a card, she deals 1 damage to you. The thing is with his ability, it says whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. It's not a may. You have to do this. So if your opponent has the Fate Unraveler on the field, you just kill yourself.
So if your meta is being stomped by Villas, Broker of Blood Turbo, you now have a counter to it.
Essentially what you do though is if someone's doing that, you just hold priority once you reach 1 life, and then you use that entire huge hand size to do something about it.
Well, that's the thing. You can't really hold priority because her effect is just.
Well, you can kill her in the stack before her.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you have to do that. That's basically your only option at that point. Just making sure that she dies, because the way the priority works, because her effect it's a constant thing. You can't really hold. No one can really manipulate that. In the
that goes on the stack.
But this is an extreme corner case.
It's extreme corner case. It's just one of those that it is up there. It's something that can happen. So just be very mindful of it.
Next, we have the red legend, Draxuth, the Maw Flame. 4 and 3 red. The dragon, legendary creature, flying, of course. Whenever he attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. That's 10 damage in total.
It's
4, 3, and 3.
It's just spread out a tiny bit. I like the fact that he's a 7/7 in the air because dragons
need all the help they can
Dragon needs all the help they can get. I feel like this is definitely not your commander. This is definitely going like Dragon or something in that sense. Just because.
Then again, it needs to take a special kind of dragon to unseat Dragon or Morpheon from the ultimate dragon commander.
Basically, it's just the reason I'm saying Dragon is because he's 7 mana. Like that's a lot. Plus, it's like he's 3 red from the gate. Morpheon will only reduce the 1 red of it, and Dragon.
That's true.
If you're building an Dragon, like you're mainly building it for like you get the Dragon, you got like the side of the Dragon or the little Goblin feeder guy from the Dragon to help out, like making Dragon spells cost less, so you can cheat him out a lot faster. I like the fact that if he just attacks, it does this trigger. It doesn't have to hit. So you can just like attack or whatever, either get made.
4 blockers too.
Exactly. So attack.
I need this dragon. I need this dragon for my dragon deck.
That's what I'm saying. It's
like wow, I really need that.
It's definitely good in the deck. It's just not good as the commander of said deck. So those are the actual mono legends. Let's talk about the multicolored or gold bordered, I guess, cards. First one on the list is Kalia Zenith Seeker. She is a red, white, black for a legendary human cleric, 3/3. Flying and vigilance. When Kalia enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an angel card, a demon card, and or a dragon card from among them, and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Kalia's canon now. I mean, previously she was commander set only. Now she's in.
Does she have an old card?
Yeah, so the original Kalia is up on screen. The original one, I don't remember the actual CMC, but I do remember the fact of when she attacked, you got to basically just put out an angel, demon, or a dragon from your hand onto the battlefield. Yeah, no.
Tapped and attacking.
Without
paying its.
Yeah,
that sounds brutal.
It is. It is. It's crazy, the old Kalia, just because you never know what, you had to just stop her from attacking. With this Kalia, you basically have to stop her from being summoned, and the problem is she's a 3-drop.
She's not that powerful.
She's not that powerful by herself.
It's an ETB, and you only get it into your hand.
She would definitely go.
Well, that's the thing.
In the old Kalia.
She definitely goes into the old Kalia deck. That's 100%. But the cool thing about this, I like, is the fact that you're searching you're going 6 deep. That's a pretty decent stack.
And in Magical Christmas Land, you can get 3.
Yeah.
Probably be better off on at least 1 though.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this is like baby's first Kalia
why
deck.
is she a human?
Yeah.
That's what I never got. Why the hell is Kalia a human?
You would need
She
to
has big old demon wings.
And angel wings.
stack your deck
Angel wings.
to have at least an even amount of demons, dragons, and angels.
Which is what most Kalia decks want to do anyway.
Well, no, you can do a singular tribal with Kalia decks.
Yeah, but I feel like
you're
you're
angel tribal or demon tribal.
Yeah, but I feel like at that point you're limiting yourself for what reasoning?
You're not limiting yourself. If you have a bunch of really cool ass demons, then put a bunch of cool demons. At least in my opinion.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if you're going to run demon tribal or something, there's better demon lords out there.
That's arguable.
Or you gotta run Ilharg in that deck.
Yeah, you're definitely running Ilharg in that deck.
What, the raise war?
Yeah.
Moving on.
Kethis, the Hidden Hand. He is a legendary creature, elf advisor for a white, a black, and a green, and he states that legendary spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And he has the ability to exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard until end of turn. Each card in your graveyard gains, or each legendary card in your graveyard gains. You may play this card from your graveyard. He's a 3/4. Not bad.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Hidden Hand.
I want to say it's like a pseudo Moldrotha, but it's like a legend-specific Moldrotha style.
Yeah. You can make a true legend tribal with this guy.
Yeah, the downside is this deck is going to cost $1 million. Like,
Same with
when I first read this guy, I thought it was for free, but
no, you
still have to pay the mana cost for whatever you bring out from your grave.
Not only that, but
And you do lose 2 legends because you need to exile 2 to activate the effect. But Rift Sweeper is a thing,
I
so
would probably run
you can at
him
least recover it.
in like a Sisei deck.
Sisei deck?
Yeah.
Captain Sisei, the original?
No, new one.
the new one.
Oh, the new one?
Because the new one cares about legends too. So
New one, you can pay 5, you can pay Wooburg, and then just search your library
for a legend, toss it into
put it on the battlefield.
Yeah, so I feel like
He's perfect because she starts off as what, a 2/2 or a 3/3.
Yeah.
So you could immediately look for him, and then he bumps up her power by 3, bumps her up by a 3/3.
Yeah, because she cares about the actual, not the CMC, but the actual colors or whatever. So yeah, he is 3 different colors, so it would kick her up in that sense. Plus, then he's kind of like the last resort graveyard strategy to her. I'm gonna get the stuff out on the battlefield. If something dies, I can just get it back with him. Yeah, I can definitely see him running into the deck because
I would have preferred him to have the ability tacked on where he could exile himself from the graveyard and do that effect.
Maybe.
Like a last
Their
resort.
theory, I guess, is the fact they wanted to make him as the commander, not really. And most commanders don't really. But even, yeah, I agree. If he's going to go to the graveyard anyway, then he can exile himself. He can just go back to the command zone. So then
You could definitely do some cute stuff with him though, because there's the sagas, there's artifacts.
I know.
Only legendary artifacts, not regular artifacts.
Well, yeah, but there's still a decent amount of legendary artifacts. Like,
Yeah.
Heron of Zom comes to my mind because Voltron. But yeah,
Voltron
You could definitely do some cool stuff with this guy.
What, a Voltron around him?
It
Well-
would be completely impossible and weird, but
I don't want to say impossible, but it just wouldn't make any sense. Like, he's more graveyard shenanigans type deal. I hate the fact that he's in white and not blue because you could toss him in the
yeah, screw
Yeah.
blue.
The next card is Kaikar, Wind's Fury. One, a blue, a red, and a white. A legendary creature, bird wizard. He is flying, of course, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 spirit creature token with flying, and you can sacrifice a spirit to add 1 red mana. And he's 3/3.
So he's basically like the beefed up version of Feather a little bit. I mean, if he's your
You don't
commander-
recur the spells you get, though.
That's true, but like it's still the shell of like a Spellslinger style deck. I
Yeah.
feel like it just adds the white, which is kind of a decent add-on to it. He seems like a decent commander. I don't know, because you can go like Spirit Tribal, or you can go like Flying Tribal. Like it's definitely you can go like Tokeny style with him. Definitely the Spellslinger portion of it,
Yeah.
which is kind of nice. Also, it's not creature, so you can go like I guess Planeswalker Tribal.
Super friends.
I guess you can go Super Friends. with it.
Planeswalkers, artifacts, sorceries, instants. It says a spirit, not a spirit token. So you can't sacrifice regular spirits with his effect.
Yeah, which is kind of nice. And just this way you get like red from it.
Not sure what you do with the red, but you could do something
Sack
with
a
it.
bunch of them because it's not even a tap thing. Like, yeah, it's just a sacrifice a spirit and then add red, so you can just like sack 20 spirits or whatever, sack all of them to like a fireball.
Yeah. Or earthquake. I mean, he's flying. He'll avoid the earthquake.
And the spirits he's making, spirits have flying inherently, so yeah, they would all avoid the earthquake as well. So yeah, you
Don't
can-
say anything is inherently, because you know wizards. You know they don't give a crap about your.
Oh yeah, the spirits that Forbidden Orchard makes don't have flying.
Omnath, Locus of the Royal. He costs a colorless, a green, a blue, and a red. 4 mana. That's a pretty cheap. It's like right between the first Omnath and the second Omnath. It's when Omnath, Locus of the Royal, enters the battlefield, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, draw a card. Pretty sweet. And it's not not as overpowered as like the original Omnath or even Locus of Rage.
Yeah, it's one of those things that a lot of people are actually saying that Omnath at this point is just going throughout the multiverse collecting elements because he started off as mono green, then he collected red.
Well, he got really angry. That's why he was red.
Well,
Yes.
then he collected red.
Angry boy.
Now he's collecting blue. So next he's probably going to collect whites.
I'm waiting for 5-color Omnath. Give me probably in a decade.
It
but-
is coming, apparently, because some people aren't happy about this new Omnath because he doesn't care about lands as much. He's not really like, you can't toss him in the regular Omnath Locus of Rage deck.
He's kind of asymmetrical. His first ability cares about having a lot of elementals.
Yeah.
His second ability cares about having one really strong elemental.
Yeah.
Although the second ability does allow you to do some cute scape shift shenanigans, because if you have more than 5 lands, when you scape shift, oh, it's 8. Ooh.
It's 8 lands.
Ooh. That's even tougher to pull off.
And which is nice, the fact that we have a nice cool split between RJ actually liking him and Eric feeling.
Oh, I can't.
I'm on the
love
fence.
Omnath.
I definitely think Locus of Rage is a stronger choice.
Oh yeah. I
For
mean,
a
I
commander.
prefer the original Omnath, but then again, I've never played it. I don't have my own deck of the original Omnath.
I prefer the original Omnath because he's not as strong. That's the reason I prefer him because I don't.
Original Omnath is insane.
He's insane, but like, it's insane similar to like Krufix. Actually, he's worse than Krufix because with him, he keeps it all into your mana pool, but everything goes into him. Versus Krufix, it doesn't really matter how you get the mana. It just goes to.
Well, he's worse. Of course, he's worse than Krufix. That's why Omnath
is not
bad. It's legal, and Krufix is. Well, Prophet of Krufix.
Isn't it kind of funny that the god itself isn't banned, but a prophet of the god is banned?
Because the prophet was broken.
It's
not allowed.
It doubled.
No Jesus, no prophet.
The card will be up on the screen, so you can see how wrong or right Aaron is.
It was broken. I like him, this Omnath, just because it's like Baby's first Omnath, where it's threatening, but it's not to the point where it's like, we need to kill that immediately.
I think it's more so like, really, you need to build a specific deck.
Yeah.
Well, there's a stupid amount of elementals that are in this new set. There's a bunch of elementals just in Magic's history that you can always just grab.
Well, we gotta remember that these are built for standard play, so...
That's true, and coming out as a 4-drop for 3/3, that's gonna have some elemental changer anyway. He's in red, so like you can run the new Chandra's in him.
Yeah.
And they're gonna
put him in Chandra tribal.
Yeah, put him in. Well, you can't because.
Well, you're not color restricted in standard, so you could run the Chandras anyway.
Yeah, that could definitely work out. I mean, if you're running him in Chandra straw deck though, you gotta splash blue and green for him though.
8 lands though in standard is. That's hard.
You're in green though. But yeah, there's no Rampant Growth.
There's no Azusa.
Yeah, there's no Azusa, there's no Rampant Growth, there's no Cultivate.
Well, no, Wayward Switches is rotating out.
Not for a while.
Not for 3 months, yeah.
Well, yeah, but
you still get some time with him. Hey, you could use Omnath as your Brawl commander.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Oathbreaker. But yes. I was thinking about Oathbreaker. I'm like, you can't use that Planeswalker.
The next Omnath will be a Planeswalker.
No, they're probably going to make them, once they get the 5-color, after the 5-color, they're going to make them a Planeswalker.
I want an Eldrazi Planeswalker.
Why? To do what?
You already have one. Frickin' the angel, the mono white lady, who's obviously Emrakul.
Oh yeah, the Wanderer.
The Wanderer.
You've seen that theory too?
Obviously Emrakul. Yes, it's true. Everything that the professor. What's his name?
Desolator Magic says.
Yeah, everything Desolator Magic says is true.
The next card is Yark the Desecrated. 2 black, green, blue. For an elemental horror. He's a 3/5 with Death Touch and Lifelink. If a permanent enters the battlefield, causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Say it with me.
Panharmonicon! But better.
It is definitely Panharmonicon, but better. Panharmonicon only affects, what is it?
Artifacts and creatures. This is land.
I just got floored. I didn't realize, because like that would double up Omnath's triggers if you somehow had him in a deck with Omnath, Lucas of Rage. That doubles up Rampaging Baloth. That doubles up.
Any landfall trigger doubles up.
The Mana Snake, Lotus Cobra, that doubles up.
Play those temples, gain 2 life instead of 1.
Yeah.
4 life instead of 2.
Play the Scry lands, you can scry 2 as opposed to 1.
Well, wouldn't that just put 2 Scry 1 triggers on the thing?
Officially, yes, but like, you still get to potentially scry 2.
Yeah.
Not really though.
Well, if you scry 1 and put it underneath, then you get to scry again.
Yeah.
I mean, those are just minimum things. Like, this guy can do so much more.
Yeah, we know that.
So much better.
There's plenty of people that are like, that Panharmonicon is one of the most broken cards ever, just because it's a dangerous thing.
It's almost on the level of Paradox Engine.
Yes. There is a reason why cards say on them, it does this thing. It doesn't say it does this thing twice. If they thought that would be fair, they would have put it on there. Yeah. This does this thing twice.
Yeah, he's broken. He's terrible. I love him to death. Mainly because he goes into Muldrotha very nicely, just slips right in there. What he's doubling in Muldrotha, I don't know. But
I think he's definitely going to be this Corset's Muldrotha. I mean,
basically.
I think he's going to have the most stacks on EDH Rack. I think he's going to be one of the more popular commanders for a while.
So would this work with like Rex Age?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Destroy 2 artifacts and enchantments on ETBs.
Oh, most notably, I did see this online. Bajuka Bog. You can technically bog 2 people's graveyards.
Yes. Eternal Witness. Grab 2 things from your graveyard.
Disgusting. Well, that's why I wanted to put him in Muldrotha. Because I was like, why am I putting him in Muldrotha? I was like, oh yeah, because I got a stupid amount of ETBs in Muldrotha.
Now that we're talking about this, I now want to make this deck.
What, just him and
I'm probably just going to replace Muldrotha and just make this.
Well, listen, I feel like Muldrotha's better because Muldrotha, like, he does stuff which is cool, but it's more there's like ETBs and stuff in that sense. But once they're dead, he can't really get them back. Muldrotha can, which is why I feel like Muldrotha is inherently stronger. Yeah, he's great. I love him to death.
Our last multicolored legend is Rian, the Angel of Rebirth. 2, a red, a green, and white. So Naya. A legendary creature, Angel. She's flying. Other multi-creatures you control get +1/+0. And whenever another multi-creature you control dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step.
So I thought about this. She's also a 5/4, which matters a little bit. I thought about this originally as just maybe an Angel tribal, but then I thought, let's just put her inside of the new Niv Mizzet.
Yeah, but the new Niv Mizzet is looking for dual colors, not triple colors.
Is she triple colors?
Yeah, she's triple
She's
color.
triple colors. She's Naya.
Well, yeah, but it's multicolored.
Her thing affects multicolors, but if you draw her in the 10 that Ms. Niv Mizzet gets, you put her on the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. What do we do?
She needs to helm her own deck of multicolored Naya.
Yes, but is there enough?
Dinosaur
Naya,
tribal.
Selesnya, or Gruul creatures.
Nice.
And have them not die. It's almost like a feather effect, except for creatures.
Yeah.
But it's kind of slow and janky. I don't think she's gonna make it.
Yeah, me neither. Well, it's nice against like board wipes and stuff, because like if board wipe, like Wrath of God, wherever hits, it would show the field. She won't come back, but all the other stuff will.
That's incredibly unfortunate when it's other multicolored creatures.
Well, they do that this way. You don't have any like infinite shenanigans.
But it procs during the next end step, so I don't know how you could do infinite with that. It would just keep reoccurring, which would be annoying, but I don't think broken.
I don't know. She's cool. Like I said, the only thing I thought about to put her in was Niv Mizzet, but since that's not going to be a thing, then whatever. So now we're going to switch over and talk about the ley lines. We specifically didn't put these on our list just because originally I had the black one on here, Eric had the black one, RJ kind of had the white one. And then I thought, why don't we just talk about them individually? This way we've got that to work on. The first ley line is Leyline of Abundance. It is 2 green for an enchantment. And if Leyline of Abundance is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. All the ley lines have this ability, it's just different names for them. This ley line specifically says, whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green, as well as 6 green, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So
I like it.
It's decent. All of your mana dorks, like Llanowar Elves, Llanowar Tribe.
Priest of Titania.
Yeah.
Birds of Paradise.
Ooh, Birds of Paradise.
Elves of Deep Shadow. Brightehorn Elves.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, so we're mentioning a bunch of
Llanowar
elves.
Tribe, you get 4 mana.
Yeah. So we're mentioning a bunch of elves because this is basically going to go into a mono green elf deck because they're the ones that have the most mana dorks that they're tapping anyway. The fact that you can show up directly on the battlefield from the start of the game is something that's kind of scary. So like turn 0, basically, you've got a 4-drop just on the field. That's just there. It's decent. It's janky. I don't like the fact that it only doubles the amount of your tap creature stuff.
Yeah, that makes board wipes doubly effective because that makes this useless.
Useless. 1,000% useless. And it only adds an addition, like 1 additional. If it's, I mean, I understand why they didn't say double because you've got
Axebane Guardian.
Yeah, you've got Axebane Guardian who then could just double and just get extremely broken. The second effect of it, it's what, 6, 7, 8? It's 8 mana to basically put a 1/1 counter on each of your guys, which is kind of nice.
I think that could be relevant late game. You have a mana sink for all those mana dorks.
That's true, which is kind of nice.
And it's each creature you control.
It also doesn't, you don't tap the enchantment. I mean, you never tap an enchantment.
Yeah.
But you can do that as many times as you have mana for it.
That's true, but like I said, but it goes back to the same principle. Board wipes.
Yeah.
It's like a very worse.
But I think this is definitely playable.
In the right deck, yes.
Yes. Mono green or even green dual colored. But I think once you hit triple colors, I think that's when this card's playability drops off sharply.
My opinion of this card, if you're running elves, buy it, regardless of how much it costs, put it in the deck, you're never looking back. If you're running anything else outside of elves, I don't know if this is for you. Mainly because it specifically adds only green. Like if you're in a dual color deck or something like that, since you want to add additional color to it, not just green. Yeah.
The few mana dorks that aren't green would then be forced to produce green with this.
Exactly, and it's like, can you really use that? Like, I don't know. Like, it's nice that they said not just any color, but by giving us only green, there's been plenty of times where, like, think about if you have like a signet and you're just like, oh wow, like I need this one color, but I don't need the other one. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this card.
Next one we have is Leyline of Anticipation. 2 blue. Being in your opening hand, you can begin with it on the battlefield. You may cast spells as though they had flash. Unsurprisingly, this is considered to be the best ley line out
Well,
of all of them?
The second best, I don't know, Void. I feel like Void. We're gonna get to Void, but Void, I feel like it's definitely gonna be
This
on
is
that
much
list.
better. I'm sorry. Void is good if you have something to work with it, but this just works with everything.
It's instant Vidalcan Ori.
It is, and the cool thing about this is the fact it's on enchantment, so it's slightly hard to get rid of than Vidalcan Ori, which is an artifact. So like Vandal Blast will hit Vidalcan Ori, but not this. It's decent. I like it. Giving yourself flash is always nice. It's also in blue, so you're typically the one who just sits back and holds up all your mana like a jerk anyway. So you might as well then flash stuff in at the end of their turn.
And it's 4 CMC, so any deck you would play Vidalcan Ori in, which is 4 CMC, you would play Leyline.
Next we have Leyline of Combustion. It is an enchantment for 2 and 2 red. If you have it in your beginning hand, you have it. You start the game with it on the battlefield, and it says whenever you or at least one permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, Leyline of Combustion deals 2 damage to that player.
So I do want to mention that some of the ley lines are reprints.
And some are not.
Some are not. This is one of those cases that is not. This is actually a brand new ley line that they're bringing out.
Abundance is brand new, and
there was a red ley line already.
2 red ley lines, actually.
Everteller already had 2 ley lines. I'm thinking it's kind of funny they're printing more.
Because why not? I don't know about this. This is kind of what Rare wants to do anyway, where it's like, hey, I'm just...
In Standard, cool. In anything else, no.
Nah.
Yeah, dealing 2 damage, especially on the commander table, it's not the greatest. I mean, it's nice whenever you, or at least when the permanent you control becomes a target, which is kind of nice.
Is it opponent target or?
Loses one permanent you control. Of an opponent controls.
Oh.
So
relying on your opponent to do something is never a good idea.
But it did also say spell or ability. So you could just inadvertently get hit by something. I wish the damage was more. Like, I wish it was like
3.
5. Well, think about it. Like, how often is if your opponent's targeting you with anything like a spell or ability, it's to destroy something or to kind of hurt you or sneak away. So it's a way of punishing them. 2 damage, especially in Commander, like, we've willingly eaten 10 damage to the face because we've got some other plan in mind. So 2 damage is basically like 9 with a slap on the wrist.
How many shock lands do we play?
Exactly. Like how many fetches? Like RJ alone in our last game shocked himself for at least a good 8-9 damage.
In Lord Windgraves, I brought myself down to like 15, 16 health.
Yeah, just by constantly shocking himself.
Yeah,
so it's one
shocking,
like, this is
fetching.
This is nothing.
I'm
building a mono red deck, and I'm not running this.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where if you've got 98 cards, you need that one last card, you're just like, I guess I'll toss this in. It's a good filler card until you find something better. The next one is going to be Leyline of Sanctity for 2 whites for an enchantment. If it's in your opening hand, you get to put it onto the battlefield. It basically states you have hexproof. Okay, so I'm not really a fan of this card.
It's an incredible card, and you guys don't know what you're talking about.
It's completely useless.
It is not useless.
It is.
There's a reason why it's a freaking $30 card.
All right, all right. So here's the thing. So I can definitely see both points of the argument. I do mostly agree with Eric that it is, in Commander specifically, it is not the greatest because you're not really being targeted that often. However, I do agree with RJ in the sense that Emrakul is definitely a thing. Mindslaver is definitely a thing. Shock or just any direct damage is definitely a thing. Send triplets is definitely a thing. Fireball, although it technically hits everyone out at once, you have to physically target the player in order to hit them. That is definitely a thing. I do agree that giving yourself hexproof could inadvertently help you. Was it Shalai, Voice of Plenty?
Shalai, Voice of Plenty.
Yeah, Shalai, Voice of Plenty.
It's the Celestial Angel that
gives everything hexproof. It also gives yourself hexproof. That inadvertently does help you out. I've actually won a lot of games in MTG Arena where I just give myself hexproof and there's like, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. It turns out a lot of cards in their hand. In Standard, it is going to be a powerhouse because giving yourself hexproof is really important in Standard because you're versing onto a lot of mono red burn, a lot of just generic stuff you have to deal with. But in Commander, I don't know if it's really that great. But here's the thing. I have run the, he's on screen right now, the new Planeswalker kid that actually creates walls, that basically just states in his standard text, you have hexproof. I've run him in my Arcades deck. Occasionally, it does do some work where it just protects you inadvertently. I definitely like the card. It's definitely cool. I'm probably not picking up because I don't physically see the need for it, but I'm also the guy that runs Emrakul in every single one of his decks anyway, so I rarely ever need to deal with it. Eric does own an Emrakul deck, so that is nice to pull it out against him, but should you put one single card in there for...
That's an extreme corner case.
Exactly, for the extreme corner case of it. I run the Wanderer inside of Amanatu because it prevents all non-combat damage to my stuff, because that is something that does also happen occasionally too. Does it happen all the time? No.
It's ironic because it's so good in Modern and Standard because it's a 1v1 format. And in a multiplayer format, you would think, oh, there's multiple people, that means multiple effects this can protect me from. But the opposite is actually kind of true.
They're going to focus on other people.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a deterrent. That's what it is. That's why I like it. It keeps people from using those effects on you.
I do like the fact that it's a deterrent. I do like that, because anything that basically pushes stuff away from you is always a good thing, especially in Commander, because
I know you run privileged position in what's the name of that
Imara.
Imara.
Yeah.
But you could run that.
Well, but that's like privileged position gives all your stuff Shroud. It doesn't target you. This particularly protects just you as the player. Most of them, I don't care about me. I care about my stuff. Anointed Procession, Parallel Lives. I care about the Tapper, Glare of Subdual. I care about that being protected because it does with my plan and taps on my opponent's stuff or whatever. I care about that, not so much me. I'll take 20 damage to the face. I don't care. You can go ahead and Mind Slaver me. Don't do that. I will kill you.
I'd say this is a meta call.
It's definitely meta call. If your meta is dealing with Mind Slavers,
a guy with Emrakul in every single one of his decks.
A guy with Emrakul in every single one of your decks.
Not all of them are real either, just saying.
Versing Sin Triplets. If you have a friend in your player group that is using Sin Triplets as their main deck, get this card, put it in the deck. It will completely screw up their strategy to where you can go ahead and kill them. If you don't, I don't know. Katie also has an Emrakul inside of her deck. Yes, Emrakul takes you over a little bit, and yes, it's always a feels bad moment, but it's not...
Emrakul's like the Planeswalker pub mascot, isn't it?
It is. I do mention it in every single episode. I haven't noticed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, then sure, it is a good card. It is a very, very good card. Just in our particular meta, I'm not feeling it.
And last, but certainly not least, Leyline of the Void. If a card will be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead.
This is, Rest in Peace?
It's Rest in Peace.
It's Rest in Peace.
It's Rest in Peace, but in black. This card, the price is on screen right now, the current price of it before the set comes out. This card is expensive for a reason. It's like $30 or some stupid thing like that. And Rest in Peace hits your graveyard too, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, no it does.
Yeah, so Rest in Peace hits your graveyard.
Opponent's graveyard.
Yes. This only hits your opponent's graveyard. So this is going inside of Tesa, this is going inside of Maldrotha, this is going inside of just Amanatu, just because... Actually, not just an Amanatu.
Oh man, you're gonna hate out everyone.
I mean, Ishak already does that. This makes my job fucking easier.
This is a counter to any graveyard-based deck. My Gitrog deck is sad when this comes out.
Gitrog, Windgrave, we've talked about many of graveyard-based decks.
Muldrotha.
Even against Muldrotha, this is great against that. Or even just... to have an era. A lot of people don't realize how often their graveyard kind of matters. Even if you're not getting anything back, it's nice just to have it. By exiling it all, you're never seeing that ever again.
You never know when you might have that random instant or sorcery with flashback.
Exactly.
With that random threshold card.
Archaeomancer?
Yeah. You might just have a random Archaeomancer just to get that one random thing. There is another card that's inside my Muldrotha deck. Pay 1, tap it, and sacrifice it, get back an instant sorcery. It's just something that just can occasionally regrowth. It was just recently reprinted in Modern Horizon. It's in my Imara deck. Is it a grave-based deck? No, but it's nice to get one thing back. With this in the field, I'm not getting anything back. That's officially a dead card in my hand.
Eternal Witness
is something that just floats around occasionally. It's a good card to just have if you're running green. This screws up that complete strategy. It makes her completely...
It's not even a strategy. I mean, it's just a one-off. That could be the only recursion card in your green deck. But now, with Leyline of the Void out, you can't use it.
Yeah, this card is absolutely fantastic. There's a reason why this is $30. There's a reason why the other one's $30. Just because it hits your opponent's stuff only. You can still have your graveyard shenanigans, just your opponents can't.
Well, technically also, this doesn't just immediately exile your graveyard.
No.
It's anything in the future. So
yes.
If you already built up a good graveyard presence, unless you have something else that you can use, like Ashiok, you can still...
Yeah, or Vajukabak.
Yeah, and that's while it's on the field, it only affects stuff that gets recently put in, but Vajukabak is definitely a thing.
Mm-hmm. But opening with it, oh boy.
And that's the thing, opening with it. That's opening your hand, you're just like, hey, before the game starts, I'm gonna throw this down. Everyone's just a collective groan of here we go, we're about to do this.
Yeah.
Just oh god, that's the drink. Even not even open, just like turn 4. You could hard cast as a turn 4.
Yeah,
like,
oh man.
The like swamp, or like even just like swamp soul ring, turn 2, swamp into this.
Although there's the flip side of you're facing 3 non-grave based decks.
Or even like against Feather, for instance, because it exiles it upon casting its Feather.
Yes.
So it doesn't even hit the graveyard. So yeah, them's the breaks, but it's one of those things that
again, another meta call.
Yes. It's also one of those things too that when you put this on the field, you're gonna be a humongous target.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of hilarious that the white one actually reduces you from being a target by saying you have hexproof. This one actually makes you a target by saying
Imagine playing an Orzhov deck and opening with both of them.
Never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen, but
if
it's
does.
funny to think about.
And that's another thing too. If you have multiples of these in your hand, you can start with all of them onto the battlefield because each one triggers itself, which is kind of nice. Alright, so let's switching over to our top 10 list. Now granted, not all of us have our entire list, but let's go ahead and start off with Elvish Reclaimer. It is a single green for a creature, Elf Warrior, which kind of matters. It's a 1/2. And it says Elvish Reclaimer gets +2/+2 as long as there are 3 or more land cards in your graveyard. That doesn't matter. What matters is pay 2, tap it, and then sacrifice a land. Search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. This tutors for any land, not just basics. Now, granted, I took a shot at putting this on the list knowing that I had a Gitrog and a Lord of Runeter's player on the podcast, but I put it on here specifically for one card, and that is Moldrotha. You get to tutor lands. So it's really quickly with Moldrotha, I can just tutor off for basics easily. It's hard to get the dual lands, it's hard to get that aren't basics. With this, I can tap it, sack a land, get the other one tapped. And
It's
then
crop
pull that
rotation on a creature.
Yeah, and the cool thing about being on a creature is that I don't have to do anything. I can just recast him if he dies.
It's also one mono green. It's Knight of the Reliquary. It's a worse Knight of the Reliquary, but in green, like mono green, Knight of the Reliquary was Selesnya, and you were forced to run it in a Selesnya deck. This one, I can run it in Windgrace.
It's great. We love it. Good card. Plus, it's a 1-drop. It's a 1-drop. Like, so good.
Speaking of 1-drops, our next one is Bag of Holding. It's an artifact, 1-drop. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. You can pay 2 and tap to draw a card, then discard a card. And you can pay 4 and tap it to sacrifice it, and return all cards exiled with it to its owner's hand. I like this card because it's generic looting.
It's generic looting, plus I like the flavor of it, where it's the Bag of Holding. Anyone who's played Dungeons and Dragons can just know that's just the D&D reference, which is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
The art is on screen right now. That looks amazing. It's just a bunch of random stuff just in someone's just kind of satchel. I like this card flavor-wise. I'm not crazy about the card actually because it's
The risk factor.
The risk factor is high.
Yeah, if you don't have that 4 to sacrifice it on the fly, you could be losing all those exiled cards.
One upside is the fact that it just says whenever you discard a card. So you can just inadvertently discard a card. Like, we've all had those moments where we just have we've got 8 cards in here, let me just discard this. You put this in a deck where it kind of wants to discard cards anyway, or even just a deck that's going to draw crap to the cards you're just going to have to discard anyway, and just keep that 4 mana open. I don't like the fact you have to pay 4 mana in order to grab this stuff back, because there's a lot you can do with 4 mana still on the table. Like, if you only have 8 mana or whatever, you're literally using half of your mana to just hold open for in case someone decides to blow this up.
Yeah, but this is also a good counter to black decks that make you discard your cards.
That is definitely true.
I think this card has potential, just for the utility aspect of it. Even if there's still the looting. Like, even if you don't care about getting back the exiled cards, generic draw a card and discard a card is pretty powerful.
So we're putting this inside like a mono red deck basically, who wants to think up really shitty
or
cards
white,
anyway.
or
Yeah,
even
I'm putting in my mono white deck
green.
because I need that card draw, and yeah, I'm losing a couple things, but
You've also got that. The way because of your playstyle, you also have that like high risk, high reward playstyle anyway, so it works out for you. I don't know. The thought of it always.
The thought of losing resources is definitely
Aaron's always
one
that,
to make you hesitant, but
keep them like discarding.
I still think it's
discarding's fine if I know I can get it back. Like, that's the thing. It's like putting all your eggs in one basket willingly. it gets to the point where the more you put under it, the more target it becomes to your opponent, where they're like, hey, if I blow this up right now, like they're always looking at how many lands you have open, they're always just kind of slowly counting your mana, and they're just thinking about like,
Well, that's why it's my number 10 and not my, number 1. I just think it's a good card that should be made note of.
Shifting Ceratops. It is 2, a green and a green. It can't be countered. It's pro-blue. It's a 5/4 for 4, and you can pay a green, and it gains your choice of Reach, Trample, or Haste until end of turn. Technically, this is a 6-mana pro-blue, can't be countered, Trample, Haste.
So the fact that this can't be countered is a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's pro-blue is a very huge thing, because making it pro any color, it matters. Because you don't realize how often you're just like, oh, I'll just block with this little 1/1, or who cares? And it's just like, no, it's pro-white, you can't do that.
I guess I'm taking the full
I'm
damage.
taking the full damage then. The fact that you can, it also too, it doesn't say like pay a green then tap it. It just says pay a green. You could pay what, 3 green.
You can give it literally everything.
You can give a thing everything. Like it was like cool. Like,
why would you give it Reach? I don't know, but
To block flyers.
well, yeah, but why would you wouldn't give them all 3 at once?
No, but it's, you can definitely drop it, like, drop it on, because there's a 4-drop or whatever, like, drop it on, like, turn 4, turn 6 or whatever, have, like, a doubler out, pay 2 green into it, and now it has haste and now it's trample.
Hey, maybe if Leyline of Abundance out and you tapped your mana dorks to get it.
Yeah, even better. Like, it's a cool card, I definitely like it, plus Dino Boy's gonna be happy because it's a dinosaur. My next card, I know is actually on someone else's list because it's a really, really cool card. It is Brought Back. For white, for an instant. Choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tap. So,
Utility and Value Town.
let
Choo
me
choo.
explain. When this was spoiled, all I thought in my head was Voltron.
Voltron.
Because so many times they're just like, okay, I'm just gonna kill your commander, I'll kill this creature or something like that, and I'm just like, dang. Now I've got to rebuild. And it's just like, okay, I'll end the turn. Before you end your turn, good stuff. 2 whites, they're back.
Yes.
Or you could pay 3 white and play Last Sunrise.
Yes.
I forget the name of it. I'm pretty sure it's something Sunrise.
Is it from the battlefield?
They have to go. Yeah, they go from.
Yeah, okay.
They go from the battlefield. And they go back onto the battlefield. Tap.
There's one that already exists. 3 mana.
Shot. Fetch lands?
Yeah, because it says target permanent.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah.
Recover board wipes.
No, it has to be permanent.
No, recover board from being board wiped.
Oh yeah, you get 2 your best.
But you only get 2 things. There's one Last Sunrise.
That's still good value.
That is still good.
Get to your best stuff.
It is, but I feel like there's stuff better than that exists already.
There is definitely he's on. It's on the screen now. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't remember the name. Where it basically states return, or each player returns
all
any
things.
card that was put to the graveyard this turn.
All permanents, I think. I don't think it's cards.
Yeah.
And of course, it comes immediately back to the battlefield. So any enter the battlefield effects
Retrigger.
or whatever, re-trigger.
And even though this is like a double white, you can still like splash this and like, or just put this in a different deck, or whatever. Like somebody that's
Dual colors.
dual colors. Someone that's in Rune of the Hidden Realms, the blink guy for the most parts.
Oh yeah.
Note this is permanent, so it works on Planeswalkers. If I minus it and it dies, that counts.
Oh,
Out to the battlefield. I do also want to mention, because I mentioned Planeswalkers, so you could just minus Amanatu to kill her. She goes to the graveyard, and I play this. She comes right back. She's technically a new instance, so I can use her ability again.
Yeah.
This card is a lot better than I thought it was.
Yep. Next card we have is Scheming Symmetry. 1 black for sorcery. Choose 2 target players. Each of them searches their library for a card, then shuffles the library, puts that card on top of it. So it's Imperial Seal for 2 players.
Yep, we did actually talk about this, I think like 2 or 3 episodes ago, RJ and I. It's a real, like when it was first spoiled, it's a really, really cool card because if, like RJ mentioned in the example, if let's say like, I'm running a Planeswalker deck, he looks to Eric, he's like, hey, I don't have anything against Planeswalkers, but I know your deck does. I'm going to cast this, go look for it to help us out, and I'll go grab something else too. The downside is the fact that they both go on top, which means your opponent is typically going to be able to draw it first. But if you've got something that just draws you a card, or you've got some way of actually drawing that card, you can technically cast yours first. It's also a thing, it's not meant for standard. Even though it's going to be in the standard, it's not meant for standard. It's meant for commander, where you can make alliances, make deals with people, politic, and just say, hey, because how many times where it's just like, guys, we need to be able to kill that thing. Well, I've got nothing in my hand. Well, can you find something? I gotta dig for it. You can just play this and then go and grab something else. And plus, when you're making those political reasonings behind it, like, hey, I need you to go grab this, you can still go grab whatever the hell you want. Like,
Yep.
like,
And you don't have to reveal.
and you don't have to reveal, which is great. It's a good card.
Good card.
This card I have on the list, not because I like it, but because I hate it. Pacifism. 1 and a white, enchanted creature can't attack or block. Everyone I played against when I started playing Standard years and years ago played a play set of pacifisms, except for me, because I had morals, and I hated it.
So pacifism is one of those cards that I need to get because Gashaf is a thing that we deal with in our meta. But not only that, it's a good card.
It's a good card, yeah.
It's a good
Standard, Commander, Modern.
When I was
Toxic card.
Anything that can lock down a problematic creature is good.
And I'm
Yeah.
playing Slivers, and I'm
it's-
calling something toxic.
It's also hilarious that RJ was like, whenever I was playing Standard, I did this, or I had to deal with against this. When I played Standard, I ran, because at the time I was playing, there was Ixalan and stuff like that, so there were 3 different versions of pacifism in Standard at the same time. I ran all 3 as a playset of 4. Like, you just do that, just to lock down the entire board. A lot of people, especially in Standard, they rely a lot on combat damage. So if you can lock down that Gashath, or that, like, Zakama, or that, like, giant stupid dinosaur, or like even like a bunch of little stuff that has trample.
Or Emrakul.
Or an Emrakul. Lock it down. The downside of pacifism, though, it doesn't turn off their ability.
Yeah.
So if their ability is what's killing you, like for instance, if you put pacifism on Amara, I don't care. I can still tap her other ways.
Yeah.
So I still get the tokens and stuff like that. Since you put pacifism on, what is
Gutter
it?
Snipe.
So it's
Gutter
a-
Snipe. It still will do its own thing. You put pacifism on Seaborn Muse, it still does its own thing.
So you have to use things like Dark Steel Mutation, Imprison in the Moon, Song of the Dryads.
Or something that states that, is it Arrest, where it stops their abilities?
Yes.
Yeah. Stuff like Arrest, where like it locks them down so they can't attack and negates their ability.
But I still think pacifism is worth a spot in some decks.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
I hate it.
The next card on my list is Drawn from Dreams. It is a 2/blue for a sorcery. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So 2 things about this. Number 1, that art is amazing. It's like these 2 little goldfish that are just kind of floating around each other, and it just looks absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
Number 2, you're going 7 cards.
This is just dig through time
This
without
is
delve.
dig through time without delve, and it's cheaper.
4 mana. Although technically you can cast dig through time for cheaper because the delve was it
Yeah.
2 blue?
Yeah,
If
so
you
it's-
delve it all away.
Yeah, if you delve it all away, it's 2 blue. But if you don't, it's still like it's a 9-mana spell, something stupid like that. But the thing is, this goes 7 cards deep. You get 2, and then you put the rest on the bottom, which you don't really care about. But the point is,
This is a setup to win card.
This is a straight up. I'm going to win either this turn or next turn because if you want to talk about digging for cards, you're
Yes.
going 7 cards deep.
7 cards. It's very rare that you don't find.
What you're
I can
looking
understand maybe not finding 2 cards that help you, but you can probably find at least 1.
We play Commander, obviously. So this
Really?
is
Do we?
Yeah, I know, right? It's surprising. This is basically like 1/10 of your deck. You're
Yeah.
just looking through 1/10 of your deck. Like it's great, it's amazing. If you can somehow be able to retrace this or bring it back, use it again. Not even into an infinite loop, just a decent small loop. You can look through like 14, 21, 28 cards. Like that's half your deck, my guy. Like
Yeah. This is on the level of Ponder, of Brainstorm. Every blue deck ever is going to want this.
yeah, this is one of those cards that if you crack it in the pack or you so it trades
Trade
it for
or
you,
buy it.
You're never selling this ever because the price is going to skyrocket.
The next card, Masterful Replication. 5 and 1 blue for an instant. You can choose 1. Create 2 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature tokens, or choose target artifact you control. Each other artifact you control becomes a copy of that artifact until end of the turn. This is a game ender. Make all those artifacts into Wormcoil Engine, or Mere Battlespheres,
The Blightsteel Colossus.
or
I was about to say,
Blightsteel
that's your Blightsteel
Colossus.
Colossus.
Any scary artifacts you have that'll win you the game, this'll win you more.
I turn all my creatures into
Or
soul rings.
you can do that.
Yes, turn them all into Soul Rings, just cast the biggest, craziest thing. You've just
Spawn Sire Moonwog. and
What's
then
the what?
immediately use it.
Yep.
Sponsor Rulamog, it's illegal in Commander technically because it's a wish thing, but you pay 20 colorless mana, and you can pull any number of Eldrazi cards from outside of the game and put them on the battlefield.
Yeah.
If you're running all in the Soul Ring. Great, they were talking about also tossing all in the Soul Rings, which is kind of just like a mean thing to do anyway, but typically, you're tossing all your stuff into either bigger creatures or just a stupid amount of little creatures. That also turns all your artifacts.
Utility.
So, like, your treasure tokens, those are technically artifacts. Your gold tokens, those are technically artifacts.
And if you have a
Thropters.
turn everything into something else.
Signets are artifacts.
Yeah,
Something
you know,
surprisingly.
Is with Microsynth Lattice in play,
Play this and turn all
Shoot, I played
artifacts
wrong.
into copies of your lands. Since your lands are artifacts to Microsynth Lattice.
yeah, we'll turn all of your stuff into
Yeah.
copies of your lands. And lands are basics, so no one cares about that. And just, but that's the same principle with the Soul Ring theory. But
You could do Blink Moth Nexus and infect people down.
Oh god, just turn them all to Blink Moths.
Yeah.
Ink Moth.
Ink Moths.
It doesn't matter. It's just Death Moth. You turn them on the
There are
Death
probably
Moth.
an infinite number of cards and combos we can say with this effect.
It's crazy.
It's
Everything in the
really,
card,
it's really
sacrifice
good.
all of them.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Mine is not a single card, but it is a cycle. It is the Scrylands. I love me some Scrylands. I know these guys are judging me for thinking this, but I love me some Scrylands. It's Temple of Scrylands, Temple of Scryumph.
I've got a vendetta against Taplands.
I don't blame you.
I mean, here's the thing. I like the top lanes. I run the top lane to gain you life because life is important. Scrying. If I'm gonna scry, I want to scry like 2, or I want to scry. I want to do like the surveil thing.
But if
which
you're
is kinda
playing
nice.
a deck with colors that don't scry, having one of these in there, you can scry.
The
That is
two
true.
Taplands I do like are the Scrylands and the Vivid Lands.
The ones that can tap for any color
Oh, yeah.
with the charge counters?
Twice, yes.
Yeah, those
and
are
then
really
they tap for whatever solid color they are.
They were
afterwards.
originally. Yeah, I mean, like, I like those. Obviously, like, you know, the bounce lands come in tapped.
I hate the bounce lands.
But they're
They
so
set
good.
you back.
Yes, but so here's the thing: the old bounce lands, like Karoo, for instance, you were set back because you had to bounce an untapped one. The new ones, you can still tap it, flip that mana, then bounce it back or whatever. Like, how many times have you played like Mojo or some instance where you're just like, all right, I'm gonna play this spell, or like, you know, tap this, cast a spell, and then just play the bounce land because the lands are tapped in.
I don't play bounce lands in Muldrotha, so none.
I feel like
No times.
bounce lands are cool just because yes, it technically sets you back, quote unquote, but then when you untap, you've got 3 mana. Like, it's good. I like the Scry. The Scrylands are cool. I just wish that they didn't reprint. Like, what if they make them like surveil lands?
That's borderline broken.
now.
Because Surveil's really, really powerful.
Surveil's really powerful, but it's also very much Dimir from Guilds of Ravnica.
Yeah.
Like, that's a set type of thing. That's not an evergreen thing like Scry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, the Scryland's decent. I just think you can be like, you know, just go into the top of your library. If you don't like
This
it,
is
put
Corset
some bottom.
2020, remember? They wouldn't pull something like that here.
It's also one of those things that in standard, this is gonna be crazy because they care about having stuff come in tap, but not to the point where it's scrying in standard is a lot more important.
Yeah.
Because there have been times where you just go land, and you're just like, well, I just.
And now they can afford a set of duels without paying $40 because I think almost all Shocklands are at least $10 or more now.
Yep.
So my next card is Thought Distortion. 4 and 2 black for sorcery. This spell can't be countered. Target opponent reveals their hand. Exile all non-creature, non-land cards from that player's hand and graveyard. This is a bomb.
It costs 6 though.
It
All
costs
women
6
are
though,
queens.
in black. Dark Ritual, Cryptghast, Urborg, Cabal Coffers.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not hard to get 6.
I mean, here's the thing. I like the fact there is a cycle of can't be countered spells. They're up on screen right now. It's basically against anti-blue. In standard, there is a deck. It's just blue-whites Teferi, which just counters all your stuff, and it's just the worst deck imaginable to verse against. You just lose.
This would hose that
brutal.
deck because
This hoses
they
that
don't
entire
play
deck.
creatures, usually.
But even better, this hoses a lot of decks. For instance, Feather, which is ironic that you put this on your list because
Yes.
we're probably going to use it against you.
That's fair.
This
Well, maybe I'll use my ley line of... What's the hexproof one?
Sanctity.
Maybe I'll use
The one
ley
you
line of
need.
Sanctity to protect me from Thought Distortion.
You wouldn't put
Ha.
You wouldn't put Leonard with Feather.
If you're putting Thought Distortion against me, specifically against Feather, I might consider doing it.
It's good against a lot of decks too because
Yeah. It's very anti-spell slinger.
So-
Enchantments, artifacts, sorceries, instants,
Instants.
and planeswalkers.
yeah, all just get knocked out.
Exiled. And in the graveyard too, so no flashback. No Is It Drake shenanigans.
It gets exiled.
Yes.
Anyone's running that in our meta.
It's the
that's-
uncommon too.
it is also 6 mana. That's
It is
the
6
thing.
mana.
Like, this,
Yes.
It's one of those things that they're going to put it in standard, but the problem is no one's going to run it in standard because it's 6 freaking mana. Like that's a lot to get up to in
That's true.
standard. In Commander, no one cares. If we 6 mana, please, a cakewalk. This can definitely hose a lot of people's decks. The fact that it can't be countered is interesting.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It might not be able to be countered, but it can be Narset Reversal. I was looking that up.
It can be Narset
So
Reversal.
Narset Reversal is a 2 blue, is just blue that says copy target spell and then return that spell to its owner's hand. So I copy it, I then target you with it. You then have to just.
And
So-
because of how Narset Reversal's effect works,
yeah,
the thought distortion
doesn't actually.
fizzles.
Yes.
It's not countered. It just
Yeah, it just
fails to activate. I don't know.
It's
Narset Reversal is a weird card.
Shared Summon.
Ooh.
It is 3 and 2 green. It's an instant. Search your library for up to 2 creature cards with different names, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. Such a limitation that it has to be 2 different creature cards with 2 different names.
I know,
Yes.
in standard that's just you can't go grab your 2 greatest things, but in Commander we don't care.
You can't get those 2 Carnage Tyrants.
Like, legit, but
the 2 Emrakul's I run in my deck.
Yeah, but
Yes.
in Commander we don't care. This is 100% our card. It's 100% our card.
It is a little expensive. It's 5 mana, but
You're
It's
in
an
green.
instant. It's an instant.
And you're in green, so you don't care.
You're in green.
Like that's you can just grab 2 of your best stuff. I originally had this on my list.
Grab
as well.
Lanmore Tribe and Lanmore Elves.
I don't know why you would, but yeah, I was thinking more
For
like
the
you know,
memes. Oh, they'd be able to get the Protein Hulk Mikhails combo right away. Although they typically want to cast them with Tooth and Nail rather than search for them. But there's Flash Hulk, so they would play them from their hand. So this checks out.
The next card on my list is Rotting Register. For 2 and a black, for a zombie dinosaur, it is a 7/6. At the
I
beginning
have
of
a
your
small brain and tiny arms.
at the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card. So here's the thing that I love about this card. Several things. Number 1, it's 3 mana for a 7/6.
Yep.
It doesn't have trample or anything like that, but that's not important. What is important is the fact that it says at the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card. So occasionally you want to have stuff that you want to put into your graveyard anyway. This works out. What's more important about this?
Like with Bag of Holding.
Like with Bag of Holding, like with Moldrotha, like with a bunch of other stuff. This doesn't say if you can't discard a card, it kills itself. It just says discard a card. If you get them cards in hand, it still says on the field, it's a 7/6 dinosaur.
put this in the rare Hellbent deck, and you're
Yeah.
gonna go.
Rakdos Hellbent, or even just, I was thinking more or less a Moldrotha because it's a 3-drop that I can easily just recast Moldrotha. I want to put stuff from my hand in my graveyard anyway. It's just a 7/6.
Yeah, for 3.
For 3.
I mean-
you get this trample. Like, think about it this way. You go this on turn 3, and then Rancor or something like that since turn 4. It's trample. It's now a 9/6 with trample.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like to be a doomsayer, but I think this might legitimately harm Standard.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna crush that.
This is the new Carnage Tyrant,
Like-
but without Hexproof. My next card is Chandra's Regulator. Of course a Chandra card would appear on one of our lists because this set is dedicated to her. It's a 1 and a red legendary artifact. Whenever you activate a loyalty ability of a Chandra Planeswalker, you may pay 1. If you do, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. You don't actually clone the put additional loyalty counters on it, so it's not quite a Chain Veil,
I mean,
but it's similar.
that new Chandra that has a 0 put an emblem on your opponent.
Yeah.
Doubling that up. Ridiculous.
nutty.
And then it has 1 tap, discard a mountain card or a red card to draw a card. Looting and repetition. The 2 things Red's known for.
Plus, it's not even that. It's even if you don't put this in a Chandra-based deck,
Why
you
would
can
you
still
do
put it in just a mono red deck because it still loots for you anyway, and it's only one.
Yes.
Well, how much is the looting cost? I'm sorry.
1 and tap.
1 and tap it, and you loot.
Discard a mountain or red, draw a card.
I mean, I can see that being okay. Well, you discard before the draw. I wouldn't see. There's probably better stuff you'd put in a mono red deck than that if
Well,
you're not
that's-
running Chandra.
Well, yeah, but the thing is the fact of this is a lot of the looting stuff in red. It's a one-off thing, like
Yeah,
the sorcerers
it's-
or instances where this is a constant thing you can guarantee to do every single turn if you need to,
Yes.
just to dig through stuff. Plus, I like the fact that you can discard a mountain or a red card.
Yes.
It doesn't just say like you can only discard you can only discard a mountain, or you can only discard a a red card where it's just like, hey, whatever's in your hand currently, chuck
It's
it.
mountain cards, so duels and shocks and other land types that have mountain.
This one probably isn't here for a meme. Colossus Hammer, a 1-mana artifact. It equips for 8. The equipped creature gets +10/+10, loses flying.
So this was originally on my list because obviously Voltron's a thing. However, I took it off the list because there were only like 10 cards or something in that sense. And I was just like, I don't know, this is more of a meme than anything else. The upside of artifacts, or the upside of equipments in general, and SRAM, is that I want to put down a lot of stuff all at once because I can keep drawing cards off of it. But this is an 8 to equip, which is a lot.
It's still a 1 to drop though, so you can just drop it and leave it there for a bit.
That is true.
And still get that card draw off.
That is
SRAM.
also true. There's Sigarda's Aid as well, which basically says whenever an artifact shows up, you can just equip it immediately. There is also Hammer Mizam, which also says the same principle, where whenever equipment shows up, you can automatically equip it, which is kind of nice. The fact that the creature loses flying, it's whatever. You just
You
give
can
it.
make it unblockable with Whisper Subcloak.
Yeah, you make it unblock with a Silk Cloak, you can just give it trample with, like, Lockstone Warhammer. Giving something +10/+10 is serious business.
Yep.
In the extreme case, you can just fling the creature at somebody's
Yeah.
face. Like, you're getting smacked for like 12 damage at minimum. Like, it's a cool card. I don't know if I would run it, just because it's a lot.
This doesn't
to
seem
equip.
standard playable.
It's definitely not standard playable. I can know. It's definitely not. 8's a lot to equip, even in Commander, because the creature I'm equipping it to, unless the creature has hexproof, it's like, cool, I'm going to spend 8 to equip this. Cool, after you equip it, I'm going to just murder your creature. My next card is Season of Growth. It is 1 in a green for an enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. This is going into Amara, and it's never coming out. So it says whenever a creature enters the battlefield, doesn't matter what the creature is, doesn't have to be a token or anything in that sense. With Amara, I basically can just tap her, create a guy, and then scry 1. Or tap her, create 2 guys, and then scry 1 and scry 1 again. It's constantly digging through your deck with any token-based strategy. You're just looking for stuff.
Play it in Bears.
Play it in Bears. Play it in Bears. It is green. Play it in Bears. It's play it in Bears. Because it's stupid. Anything that you're creating a bunch of tokens, anything you're just creating a bunch of guys, you can constantly get guys out, run it. Because scrying, although I don't like it on the land so much because it's a one-time effect, this is a multiple occurring thing you can do all the time.
Well, if Chandra's Regulator's my number 2 card, this, of course, would naturally be my number 1. Chandra Awakened Inferno. 4, a red and a red, for legendary Planeswalker Chandra. This spell cannot be countered, and it enters with 6 loyalty. Her +2 is each opponent gets an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, this emblem deals 1 damage to you. That right there is insane. She
Yeah,
immediately
just for a
upticks
0?
to 8.
Oh, okay, yeah, upticks, yeah.
And your opponents take 1 damage during their upkeep. And if you have the regulator up and you pay that extra 1, they will take 2 damage. And these emblems stack. And emblems cannot be interacted with by any means in the game.
Yeah.
So they will be on the player forever. Her other abilities are -3. Chandra Awakened deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature.
It says each,
To each non-elemental creature.
so she shocks the board.
Well,
She-
lightning. She lightning bolts the board.
So she chain lightnings the board.
Oh yeah. And again, with the regulator out, it'd be 6 damage to each non-elemental creature.
So she chain lightnings the board.
Which, if you're playing an elemental deck, which this corset really, really wants you to,
I'm
this could be a one-sided board wipe.
I'm now.
I'm not. And then her -X is Awakened Inferno deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead.
So the cool thing about this is, well, for starters, this is the one that she starts on the 6 loyalty. It states right from the gate she cannot be countered. We've talked about this beforehand, especially in this particular episode, that Standard is flooded right now with this Teferi deck, which is just ruining everyone's existence. This being unable to be countered means that when it drops down, she's instantly using her ability, particularly the -X, to just kill the Teferi and say, you know what, you can go yourself, my guy.
Not only is the Teferi dead, it's exiled.
Exactly, so you can't get it back, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then slowly ticking up, because the Teferi deck doesn't run a lot of creatures.
After they do their stuff of returning all our cards to hand, they'll just dirtle.
Yeah.
And if they happen to have less cards in their library than you do, they lose because
Exactly.
they would deck out.
And not even that, but with this Chandra, it gives them the emblem, which means they can't interact with it, they can't destroy it, it's not against enchantment or anything in that sense. gives them the emblem, and like Eric said, it's stacks. You get the 1, you're gonna burn for 1. You get 2, you get burned for 2. Math isn't that hard. She can go, because she started at what, 6 or whatever?
She starts at 6.
So she can keep going up, and it's +2?
It is +2.
Why? Whatever. So she can constantly go up to like 10, 12, and at that point, even if you have a decent sized creature, she's got a decent amount of blockers, or even some blockers, you're not getting through enough to the point where you can just constantly block her. You could be taking 5 damage from her emblem every turn.
Yeah.
Like,
this is what 6 mana Planeswalkers should be.
Yeah.
But the ones printed in Planeswalker decks are nowhere near this level of power.
No.
Nor should they be.
Alrighty. Ajani, Strength of the Pride. For 2, a white and a white. Legendary Planeswalker Ajani. For +1, you gain life equal to the number of creatures you control, plus the number of Planeswalkers you control. That's a lot of life.
So you're always at least guaranteed at least 1 because he counts himself.
Yeah.
and I guess 1.
Yeah.
It says create a 2/2 white cat soldier creature token named Ajani's Pridemate. With whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Ajani's Pridemate.
So that's his minus.
It's -2. It's just making Ajani's Pridemate.
And he starts off at what, 4?
4.
Does Johnny's
Or no,
Pride
5.
have any abilities?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the gain. Whenever you gain life, he gets +1 counter on him.
But that one is a token.
It's a
That's
token.
a
That's
Ajani's
the same
Pridemate.
thing.
Wait, it has the same abilities? I
Yeah.
thought it's just a token.
No.
It's a token that it's
that-
the exact same thing as an Ajani's Pridemate.
You're making an Giant's Primate every single turn.
That's confusing.
It
So-
is. And also has you gain life equal to the number of creatures you control. So you use that +1 the second turn. Even if that Giant's Primate is the only creature, you're gaining 2 life.
And that
Which means
Giant's
it's
Primate
getting
is getting
2 +1/+1 counters.
Yeah, because it says for each, which is in different instances of itself.
Then it has a 0. If you have at least 15 or more life than your starting life total, exile Ajani, Strength of the Pride, and each artifact and creature your opponents control. So in any life gain deck, you play this, you drop him, you 0 him, your opponents have nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. Now the thing
But
is, it says it exiles itself, which means
Yes.
the fact that
No looping.
it's no looping, which is kind of nice, unless you have some weird shenanigans where you can manipulate the stack a little bit and bounce it back or something. But yeah, it's crazy. It's great. I thought about putting him in like the Amara deck, but I was like, I don't know, because
Oh, and also note it says starting life total. So for Commander, that'd be 55.
Yeah.
They
no,
do
I
not
know that.
repeat the mistakes of Sarah's Ascendant.
Oh, 1 mana 5/5 flyer. What's wrong with that?
yeah, it's 1 minute 5
With lifelink.
Yeah, with lifelink on turn freaking 1. That's nuts.
Everything's wrong with that. Yep.
So my last card, which is technically I guess my number 1, because I do feel the most about this particular card, it is Mystic Forge. It's a 4-drop artifact. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. It also says you may cast the top card of your library if it's an artifact card or a colorless non-land card. And then it also says tap, put, or pay 1 life, exile the top card of your library. So this is going into SRAM and also never coming out. Because occasionally with SRAM, I'll get this weird thing where it's like, I'll play an artifact or whatever, or play equipment, draw a card, play equipment, draw a card, play equipment, draw a card, and that third card I drew, it's a land, it stopped the chain.
So you'd exile the lane,
Well, no, I would draw the land, and then I was like, well, I can't play anything else from my hand because I don't have any other equipment or whatever. He only triggers when I cast something.
That's going
Yeah.
to Healy, because
Oh no, this is going to Saheeli as well.
Let's go into Eldrazi.
That's going to Eldrazi as well. But the thing is, with SRAM specifically, you get to look at the top card of your library. If my top card of my library is an artifact, I can cast that, and then that starts the chain up again because it's how to cast it, and then draw another card. So it's a way to kind of not stall. In the Eldrazi deck, it's stupid because it also counts for colorless non-land cards. That's 90% of the fucking Eldrazi cards he runs.
Yep.
Microsoft Blast on the field.
Microsoft Blast and Saheeli, you turn everything into artifacts.
Everything, even, well, stuff in your hands on artifacts, but they're all colorless.
So Microsoft Blast specifically...
Would not work
Every
with that.
no, it would. All permanents, artifacts, and to their types, all cards that aren't on the battlefield, spells, and permanents are colorless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so all cards that aren't on the battlefield, which includes your library as well as your graveyard. So yes, this will work 100% with Microsoft
As well as all
Blast.
cards
Okay,
outside
my
of the
bad.
game. You're good. No.
Which is great because that, but Microsoft Blast on the field, at that point you can basically just cast whatever you want from your deck. That's not a land for the most part. All right, so now it's time for us to jump over to the cleanup step. Where I say thank you so much for actually watching this episode and listening to us. Make sure you actually hit that like button. Make sure to actually thumbs up and everything else, and share, comment, subscribe. Thank you, Eric, for subbing in. Your paperwork will get through, I promise. It's not getting through.
Happy to be here. Now, when do I get paid?
He,
Yeah, let me.
wait a
follow
minute,
that.
he's getting paid?
Well, that's it, so folks. Bye.
Thank you, my little goblins.